The couple things, and I talked to the coaching staff, and based on a lot of emails that I've received and the coaches have received, I felt like talking about meet entries, you can't talk about it enough. So I wanted to reinforce once again, you have 5 professional coaches on staff that are in the office. They're not working from a Starbucks down the road. They're not getting up in their PJs and sitting on their laptop in the room with Oprah in the background. They are in here working together, developing a plan for your children. So with that, when it comes to meet entries, the coaching staff takes a very big picture approach on what events we want them to swim. And a lot of it is from a seasonal approach. You might ask yourself, well, why is my child doing the 200 fly? Well, there's something we're trying to set up at the end of the season. And it's important, too, as we talk as coaches, where we're trying to set them up a year or two from now. So when you see that kind of stuff, and parents will email the coach and say, well, I think so-and-so would be in this event, I would tell you that we're the ones on deck with them. Trust us. We have your swimmer's best interest in mind. If you noticed, those that were part of the program a year ago, this year we're trying to stick pretty firm to racing once a month. Now that's a situation that changes, like this weekend. If you have kids qualify out of spring champs for tags, then they're going to go to a second meet in 2 to 3 weeks. But we like to race once a month. That allows us to see what we do right, what we do wrong, get back to the training tank and correct those things. I also think it keeps kids healthy. And lastly, from a financial standpoint, when we want to do something big, we can, and you might be interested in that, the less we're traveling, we have the opportunity to kind of get out of Houston when we do that. So going back to the meet entries, I just want to remind you that each swimmer's coach, their primary coach, so all the Copper kids, Matt always does the entries for the Copper kids. Dustin with Silver too, he does that. Now right now he's taking on the Gold kids, for example. Right now I'm doing the junior kids, but I take on the national group. So your coaches, your swimmer's primary coach will always do the meet entries. I can't say it enough. Coaches have a plan. Please trust it. We work with your child on a daily basis. And, sometimes a swimmer swims an event, you might say, well, my son is not very good at the 50 breast. Why are they doing that? Well, we're doing that to help out the 200 IM at the end of the season. So that we're always picking an event that might help them down the road. And then I want to remind you, and like I said, this kind of piggybacks on this past weekend, what your child is good at 8, what they're good at 10, it will change. Your kids do grow. And so with that, their bodies change, their ankle flexibility changes, whatever it might be. So we're a 200 IM 500 free program for our 12 and under down. We're a 400 IM 500 free for our 13 up. Obviously, as they start to get a little older and they start to achieve at a higher level, maybe in specific events, those start to specialize. But we basically are going to swim them in everything. So, when you hear a parent come and say, well, my son's a breaststroker, well, no, they're not, because you don't know. So, relays. So, when it comes to relays, and I've had a couple emails, we got tags, we got spring champs, the relays are solely based on coaches' discretion. Okay? The coaches work with the athletes. The last thing a coach needs to deal with on the day of a meet is a parent coming up to him, why isn't Jimmy on the A relay? Well, have you seen Jimmy's practice work ethic? Have you seen Jimmy's attendance? You can't look at what's in Team Unify either. I have a young man in the program, Austin Van Overdam. He's scored several times at Summer Junior Nationals. He never swims the 100 free. Should I put him on my 400 free relay? Probably, because he's pretty good, and he works pretty hard. But that's where a coach sits there and looks at an athlete and says, I see this athlete every day. As coaches, and I will tell you more specifically, the staff sat there this past weekend and talked about all the 8 and under relays at length. The coaches talked about spring champs relays at length. We're talking about tags relays at length. I don't really deal with it at the sectional level. It's nice. But at the age group level, trust what the coaches are doing. And I would say most of the time we're right. Okay, every once in a while a kid swims out of their gourd and they do something really, really special. But, then maybe 2 relays score, and that's a good thing too. So please trust your coaches. Once again, we're professionals. And then I wanted to bring up the fleet swim camps. We did these last year. If you guys have this, it's right in front of you. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question about the relays.
Yes, ma'am.
At the beginning of a race, if, say, your child's supposed to be on B relay, but then they get bumped to a C relay, how is that?
It's based on maybe how a nut. So the question is, child is on a B relay and they get bumped to a C relay. Why was that done? Well, maybe somebody on another relay swim faster. Maybe a coach is playing a hot hand. I mean, if you guys have done another sport, coaches go with intuition. They trust something, and I would tell you right now, the age group staff, and I'm going to take myself out of it. I think they would all talk together, and they don't have a selfish desire with an athlete. It's about the team. So we're always going to put the best 4 up there that we think would help the team. And so to me, it just seems pretty black and white. But if you have a question, I would say, feel to reach out to your coach after the fact. But we do spend a lot of time. And I know Dustin has probably spent right now about a half an hour on those tags relays, trying to give even B relays an opportunity. And some of you guys will getting emails. I know Coach Marianne has emailed people about that. But, that's purely on how a meet's going. If we see an athlete, for example, if a kid was swimming 1,000 the first night and they dropped 45 seconds, we might want to get them on another and they weren't on a relay, but we know they're swimming hot. So, yes, ma'am.
As a parent of a child that's only swam like one relay, I don't understand A, B, C, D, and I know my child looks to me and asks and goes, I'm on D relay. I don't know what to do. I don't understand what.
So what do the letters mean? What's the alphabet soup mean when it comes to relays? Like ideally at an age group level, at let's say spring champs, an A relay might be the fastest 4. When you go to the B, C, D, a lot of times you're splitting hairs. I mean, you might have one kid here, one kid there. But sometimes we try to spread the wealth. Like this weekend, anybody that is swimming at tags is not on a relay this weekend. We want to give all those kids a chance. At spring champs the following weekend, or the 13 over meet that's in the Woodlands, I think we had to fill an event with a tags kid because we had 7 kids, so we had no choice. But none of those kids are on relays that are swimming at tags because we wanted to give everybody an opportunity. So, but I think...
They go up to the block. I mean, how do they know where to go when they're swimming these relays? Because I don't know that we haven't practiced them at practice.
Right. Well, I think you have multiple sites, right? You're going to have different swimmers. I think that's a difficult thing to put in place. I think more than anything, you want to give them practice. So what they're doing at 8 or 9, over time, they're going to get better at it. So it's just, going in A, B, C, D, and relay, you've opened the door to 16 kids, just to give them an opportunity. So the Fleet swim camps, I'm hearing. Fleet swim camps. We did this last year. We're doing it 2 more sessions this year. Just to let you know, if you register or contact me by May 1st, you'll get 10% off. Okay, this year we're going to do video with each athlete with a voiceover of all 4 strokes. This is for basically 8 to 14-year-olds that would do this camp. We will have an all-day camp that will be $225. We'll have a half-a-day camp that stays at $150 because that will not be with the video session, or there'll be the noon to 4 o'clock session and the coaches will be videotaping that. We're running 5 sessions this year. If you sign up for multiple sessions, as the Progressive commercial goes, another discount. You'll get another 10% off your next one. So, and pay. Yes, Paula's got to have cash in hand. But I think, and we learned a lot from last year. I think this year will be a lot better. We're bringing in a young lady from Arizona State that's run camps for Arizona State. Her name is Taylor Worley, National University Games member, National Junior Team member, swam for me at Parkway. She's going to kind of be our ball of fire. She's going to be our closer, so I'm looking forward to having her here run the camps along with the other coaches. But Alex and I will develop the curriculum, but it will be nice to have somebody there that is not doing the coaching hours with us. So please contact me about the Fleet Swim camps. Yes, ma'am. You can have this one. Go pass. I will make more copies. You can also email me about that.
Email everything that you handed out.
Yes, I will. And this will also have a link, so you'll be able... Okay, all right. Communication, just kind of, I want to finish up here. Just a reminder, we're a big club. And the communication that you get the weekly announcements. That's going to come out every Monday. If you don't get it from a coach, let me know. But that kind of, you'll see 3 weeks at a time of a practice schedule. We try to be proactive with that. You have the calendars. Check your calendars, right, Paula, for their practice schedule. If you have a question, go to the source. Ask your coach. I think especially out of some of the younger families, and I don't necessarily see it. I'm sure it's happening too. Don't try to solve an issue in the bleachers. Don't try to solve an issue in the bleachers. That doesn't remedy the situation. Reach out to your coach. You're not going to hurt his feelings. You're not going to hurt her feelings. Okay? We're professionals. We'll be able to answer those questions. So just make sure you're reaching out to us. We'll continue to communicate to you. Lastly but not least, volunteerism. We have a lot of opportunities in this club. It takes a whole village to make this thing happen. We have opportunities with our board. We have our booster club, like Sharika said, that's kind of an open-ended thing. If you're interested in being a meet director, Carolyn Reed would love to talk to you, I'm sure. Stroke and turn officials, always looking for them. And we'll do a Saturday work day out here where we clean up. People want to come help out. Love to get you plugged in that way. We have various positions from our meets that we host. Karen Eckhart put together the parking situation. That takes a lot of people, okay? You know, setting up and breaking down. Okay, I know a lot of people like to bolt afterwards after a swim meet, but that takes a lot of people to make that happen. I would anticipate that our June meet, like our May meet last year, will have almost 1,000 people at the meet, so we'll need everybody to help out. So from a volunteer standpoint, if you're hearing this tonight, you know, Efrain's a board member, Karen's a board member, Tanya Meadows is a board member. We got 3 of them here that I can see. You can reach out to Paul. You can contact myself. But we need to get more of you plugged in. Because I think right now that the age-old adage that 10% is doing, 90%, we could use a little bit more to help that 10%. And if there's something that you're passionate about, let us know. What Efrain's doing right now, he's a board member, but he's also passionate about videotaping. So he's putting together a YouTube channel for Fleet. But there's a lot of ways for us to promote the program. So when you head to Summer League, make sure, the key principles that, you talk about, you tell everybody, when they ask you, your child swam great, talk about the family we have here. Talk about how there's opportunities for every athlete here, because we truly do. And we'd love to have them join our family. So thank you for joining us tonight.